Hi, Mike.
Hey, AJ.
Obviously, the Cubs are going with a little bit of a different pitching strategy today. I'm wondering if that tempted you at all to move things around in your lineup and why you ultimately settled on going with the same group.
I actually like the lineup against righties. Toddy's been really good against righties. Louis better against righties. Manny's splitty, and Jackson's better against righties. So feel pretty good about our lineup.
The 6, 7, 8 lane, obviously those guys are all going to face lefties, and you know that going in. What gives you confidence in what they can do against left-handed pitching? Is it given what they've done this season?
Yeah, the same thing that people wrote about, talked about, pontificated about all season. There was a time where, I didn't play the lefties and people were going crazy. All right. So we have lefties that are really talented and they're going to play and they're going to hit. And they've been doing it since they were old enough to pick up a bat. I had a lineup in 2010 in Johnson City, had 6 straight left-handed hitters. Yeah, won the league and set a league record for wins. So, I think we're going to be okay.
A few more for Mike. AJ.
This team obviously has a lot of experience in these kind of games.
Right.
How much do they draw on that when it is a game like today where it is win or go home?
Yeah, I think there's no question there's a group that has experience. There's a talented team. Like I said yesterday at the end of the game, we were definitely disappointed. Clearly rather be up 1-0 than down. But this is a group that believes in themselves, has been there, done that, and is going to show up and play as good a baseball game as we can possibly play again. Played a good game yesterday, just didn't go our way.
Go to Sam on the left side in the back.
Mike, what did you like about having Dylan on the mound here in Game 2 today?
Well, Dylan's, first of all, he's one of the best strikeout guys in the league. He's had success in this town and he's had success in this stadium against this club. And he's got, 2 elite pitches that, on a given day can dominate. So, there's a lot to like.
Come over here, middle on the right.
What kind of presence has Dylan been for your team all season long? Obviously, his numbers maybe aren't exactly where he would want them to be, but just in general, what does it mean to see him go to the mound every time?
Yeah, quite a bit, actually. We've had 2 consistent guys that have taken the ball basically every 5 or 6 days, depending on how we've been able to parcel out the rest. But, Dylan's been fantastic as far as taking the ball and posting, and, you're going to get a plus heater and a plus slider, and that's all we can ask for.
Anything else for Mike? AJ?
I guess the fact that Dylan had some ups and downs this season and kind of always saw the optimism in him being able to put it together and then kind of sort of did down the stretch. What does that say to kind of about Dylan's kind of makeup, given the struggles he went through and kind of the way he was able to move through them?
Yeah, I think, we talked about your question earlier, which was a good one, relative to the experience of the team. There's also experience that Dylan has, right? This guy's been a Cy Young nominee. He's pitched well for us, in the past. He's an established guy in the league, one of the better guys in the league more consistently. So because of that body of work, when things don't go as well, inside yourself in this league, I've done this. So he draws upon that, we draw upon that, and then here we go today.
And last one's for Mike. All right, thanks for coming in. We'll see you post-game.
Enjoy your day.
All right, we'll get started with Jake Cronenworth. First question for Jake. AJ on the right side.
Hi, Jake.
Hey.
Just generally, what is the mindset, what is the vibe coming into a game today where you know you have to win?
Yeah. No, I think you kind of nailed it. Everybody goes to sleep last night knowing that, we got to show up today and give it everything we got from the first pitch to the last pitch. And I think that's what also makes these games great sometimes is, everybody's pulling for each other and the group gets super, super close in situations like this. And I'm sure you'll see it throughout the game from the first pitch to the last pitch, and everybody's engaged and ready to go.
You've played in a lot of these games in the last 5-6 years. What have you learned about what it takes to win them?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Play free, have fun. obviously every single pitch is important on the offensive side and defensive side, but we got here for a reason, and I think for guys to continue to play the way we've played.
Jesse.
Thinking back to Game 2 against the Cardinals in 2020, obviously the home runs were huge, but what do you remember generally about sort of what it was like on the field in the dugout that night?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the biggest difference was no fans, but which I'm sure with fans that game would have been pretty incredible. But no, I think it showed, obviously that group is very different from this group outside of a couple guys, but the resiliency and kind of what we were able, it's such a back and forth game, and not back and forth just late, but back and forth early. It was a big home run for them, big homer for us, big hit for them, big pitch for us. We ended up coming out on top. I think it was just, as we've seen, and kind of what I answered AJ's question with, you saw the focus and the competitiveness from pitch one all the way until the end of that game.
Stay here on the right in the middle.
Dylan obviously has a unique ability out there on the mound. What sort of confidence does he give you guys as a team when he gets the ball?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Dylan's repertoire speaks for itself. 97 to 100, and seemingly in big games it seems to be 98 to 100 more often. And great slider, the ability to punch guys out, and kind of limit those big innings. So, no, I think the confidence with him is through the roof. I think his ability to go out there and pound the zone today and keep those guys off balance and use his fastball is huge.
Jeff?
Is it your expectation that you will not see a righty in this game, and how does that change your pregame preparation, being part of that pocket of lefties?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like I haven't seen a righty in the last 3 weeks. But no, I think it goes back to the preparation piece, kind of looking at who you're going to face, see how they operated yesterday, not just early in the game, but when Boyd came out and how they kind of matched up against those three there at the bottom. Just see what they got and how they're going to move forward after Kittredge comes out of the game.
A few more for Jake. Go to Sam on the back left.
Jake, a number of your teammates have talked about this group's ability to keep things level, even in the regular season. There were ups, there were downs, but you end up with 90 wins. What do you think it is about this group in particular where you guys, especially considering the situation today, can keep things kind of level no matter what the situation is?
Yeah, I think, I feel like we've talked about it the last few weeks. It's the experience of the group. I said it last night. I was talking to AJ, and it seems like every single guy that's on this team right now and in the starting lineup has been in a situation like this in the postseason. And we can look at the regular season too, the ups and downs, the super hot start to cool off, then another hot stretch, and then slow, and then finish those last two series really, really well. And I think it talks about the resiliency of the group, but more the experience. I think we look at it and look up and down the roster, and you got guys with 10 years, 12 years, 5 years, 7 years, and I think the majority of the group can tap into that and look in today and feel comfortable and calm and just play our game.
Anything else for Jake? All right, Jake, thanks for coming in. Good luck today.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, we'll get started with you, Darvish. He's got Shingo here with him. First question for you. Jesse, down in the front.
Good morning.
Mark.
I know you have a fondness for Wrigley Field, just the opportunity to pitch here in the postseason potentially tomorrow, and how you're feeling about that from the perspective of what this place means to you.
自分としてもすごくお世話になった球団ですし、ファンの方にもそうですし、本当に思い出深い場所なので、またプレーオフで投げられることをすごく楽しみにしてます。
Yeah, this place did me good. The organization, the fans did me good too. Wrigley Field does have a special place in my heart, and I just feel fortunate that I may have the possibility to pitch on the mound here.
Jeff, back right.
What do you recall about the day you were traded to the Padres? Traditionally, it's the Padres who, it would seem like a role reversal. The Cubs shedding money and the Padres taking on a player like you. What do you recall about that trade?
コールっていうのはどういうふうに捉えるの？いや特に何もそんな深く考えてないですね。はい。
No, I didn't have too much thoughts on that.
Do you remember what you were doing and when you got the news? Like what was happening as you were traded? I think it was in late December.
いやもう全く覚えてないですね。本当に全く覚えてない。
I'll be dead honest with you. I really don't remember what I was doing then.
ただスネルと一緒になんか入団会見をしたのを覚えてるんですけど、それ以外はちょっとあんま覚えてない。
Yeah, I remember that I had they did a press conference with me and Blake Snell. I remember that part, but other than that, I don't remember much about that.
A few more for you, AJ.
How do you reflect on this season, given kind of the challenges that were the first half and then coming back from the injury and getting back into it? And what has kind of allowed you to I guess, improve as the season went on?
まあ肘のことですごくこうなんていうのかな、まあ苦しんだ年ではありましたけれども、でも本当に球団とかスタッフの人にすごく支えられてここまで来たので、またこのいろんなことありますけどこの場に立っていることにすごくこう感謝してます。
Yeah, I struggle a whole lot, obviously, with the elbow situation, and it was very tough to deal with. But I had a lot of great support from the organization, from our staff, which was super helpful. And so right now, I just feel fortunate to be here, to be able to pitch.
Jeff?
You mentioned after your last start that the playoffs, it's different. You don't care if your elbow breaks. It's the way you're going to pitch. What kind of future do you imagine for yourself with the Padres after this season, given that the elbow has kind of been a thing for you for a couple of years?
そんなもう未来のことよりも明日のことしか考えられないです。
Right now, I just can't see that far away. I mean, I'm super focused on what may happen tomorrow, so.
Go to Jay on the left side, about 4 or 5 rows back.
The first day of the playoffs was a really good day for Japanese ball players. Yoshida, Seiya, Shohei, obviously. I know you probably don't want to you'd rather see Seiya do well against another team, but what is it like for you to see so many of your Japanese countrymen deliver on like the sport's biggest stage?
活躍するってことはそれだけこっちにたくさん日本人の選手が来だしているっていうことなので、彼らにとって本当に素晴らしい日であったことはいいんですけれども、と同時にやっぱり日本の野球の未来も明るくなっているっていうことなので、すごく嬉しいです。
Yeah, that means that we have obviously a lot of Japanese players here now, and to see them do well like they did yesterday, it's a great thing, I think, and it's a great thing in a way that it's good for Japanese baseball too. So those are my thoughts for that.
Any more questions in English? Jesse?
Do you know Seiya Suzuki at all or well? What's sort of the background of your relationship?
エージェントが同じで、だからカブスと契約する前もサンディエゴに来てちょっと一緒にご飯食べたりとか、家族同士も仲いいので、すごくよく知っています。
I know him very well. We share the same agent. Before he signed with the Cubs, he did come down to San Diego, and we got to spend some time together. Our whole family, is good friends with their family. So yeah, we have a very good relationship.
Marty, first row on the left.
You have quite a few teammates, especially in the pitching side, who could be free agents after the season. How disappointing would it be if this particular group cannot find a way to go on a run in this postseason?
フリーエージェントが何人かいるけどと。
そうですね。ピッチャーがいなくなっちゃうけど、これでこの先行けなかったらっていう。
この先行けなかったら。
この先ここで終わってしまったらどんな気持ちかっていう。
終わったらどんな気持ちか。
So your question was, if we can advance further, what are his feelings?
The number of guys that could be free agents on the pitching side? You know, players like Dylan Cease, like Michael King, like Robert Suarez that could be elsewhere next season.
So you're asking him, what does he feel if we cannot advance with this team? Is that where you're trying to get to?
Yes.
今そんな話も仕方ない勝とうとしてるから。
Well, that's something we can discuss in a later day. I mean, we're in full mode to go out there and win ball games. So.
Anything else in English for you? Okay, we'll go to Japanese questions. Anything in Japanese? Straight back.
今日勝たなければ明日がない、そして明日負けてしまえば終わってしまう、シンプルにその明日への気持ち、勝つという思いをお聞かせください。
いやもう今言われたようにそのままなので、だから今日とにかく勝つことと、今日勝てばまた明日勝つことにみんなで集中するっていうこと以外は、はい、ないです。それだけです。
On the right side towards the back.
最近のメジャーリーグでは特にポストシーズンにおいて、先発ピッチャーが早めに交代する傾向があります。例えば4回5回っていうのが普通になってますけれど、先発する側としてはそのシーズン中6回7回を目指すのとアプローチが変わったりしますか？
そうですね。特に自分の場合シーズン中も球が少なかったので、プレーオフもそんなにいきなり100球とかないとは分かっているので、本当に初球からこの前も言いましたけども全力でいけるようにっていうのは考えています。
Up here in the front, on the left side.
よくダルビッシュ投手はこの年になってこの環境でやれてるのが嬉しい、感謝するっておっしゃってますけど、言ってみれば30代最後のプレーオフの場になると思うんですけど、かつて味方だったファンの前でこの場で投げる思いっていうかこの気持ちいかがですか？
やっぱりさっきも言いましたけど本当に特別な場所ですし、ファンの方々なので。自分が苦しい時も支えてもらいましたし、良くなっていく時もすごく応援してもらいましたから、それをまたこの舞台でまたその方たちの前でまた投げられるっていうことはすごく嬉しいことですし、と同時にやっぱり倒しに行かないといけないのでちゃんと勝てるようにとは考えています。
Anything else in? Oh, yeah, second row on the right.
ダルビッシュさん、明日投げることになったら、チームの命運を左右する一戦ということになると思うんですけれども、そこに向かうための気持ちで大事にしようと思っていることとか、そこへの向き合い方は今どうしようというプランがありますか？
いつもと変わらず、本当にそんな考えても何も変わらないので自分のが、だから本当シーズン中と同じで、この試合に勝つことに何ができるかっていうことと。だからあんまり考えすぎないようにっていうところで、はい。
Any last ones in Japanese? All right, you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. ありがとうございました。